Howdy, howdy, howdy tankers, welcome back to another video. And as you can see by the thumbnail, we are going to be talking about resetting base today. Lately in the games, I've been seeing a lot of base capping, and I've also been seeing my teammates just not know how to properly reset a base. And it's just straight up because Wargaming doesn't tell you anything except shoot the enemy, but there's a lot more to it than just shooting the enemy, as I will be showing you guys in this video. Now the next part of this video is going to be some base capping politics, so if that doesn't really interest you, then you can just skip to around 4 minutes in the video. But I would suggest to stay around because there are some points that are made on both sides, and I think that you could find something in there that could interest you. Now I have a whole bunch of scenarios that I'm going to be showing and walking you guys through in a minute now of all the different things that you might run into when trying to reset a base. But before I get into that, something that goes hand in hand with resetting a base is base capping. Now I know this is a touchy subject in the community, you know, the whole kill all or cap out, you know. So I'm just going to say this. I'm going to give my 2 cents on it. And no matter what I say, at the end of the day, y'all play how y'all want to play. Alright? I'm just going to say, maybe try to persuade you to do it one way, but you don't have to listen to me. I'm just giving my 2 cents. But hear me out. Alright, so base capping. It's being done a lot more in World of Tanks right now. We have multi-base now, which makes it even harder to defend your base, and it's just people think it's an easier way to win. Their main thing is a win is a win. Yes, they are correct. A win is a win. But there are times that you can and should, and then there's times that you just plain up shouldn't. When it's 5 or 6 tanks on your team alive against 2 or 1 tank, at that point you should probably not be on the base. Now let me explain why. You get 100 points of experience for capping a base out from start to finish. So if you aren't in that base from start to finish, then you are getting less than 100 XP points. 100 XP points is the max you can get. And if there are 2 people in the base, you split those XP points. Splitting 100 XP points is nothing. If you were to keep on driving and try to get at least another shot or 2 shots of damage into a tank, you would already get more than 100 XP for doing that. And another thing that you're stopping it as a team, you get more XP for the amount of tanks you destroy on the enemy team. So if you're capping out with 5 or 6 enemy tanks still alive, you are losing out on XP as a team. Another thing is that if you cap out early, you're denying your teammates the chance to have good damaging games, good outcomes in their tanks. Some people are marking tanks, some people are grinding tanks, and they just want as much XP as humanly possible. And if you go capping out unnecessarily, then you're making it harder for them. You also aren't really learning how to get better at the game by capping out consecutively every single game. You're not going to ever be putting yourself out there, exchanging shots, learning weak spots. You're not learning anything by sitting at a cap circle. And I don't know about you, but I thought the whole point of playing a game is, you know, trying to get better at it and have some fun. But to each their own. The last thing I'm going to say is that, to just sum everything up on my thoughts about it, is that capping can be good in the right situation. If you have no chance of winning the game, I will cap out. That is the only time I will pretty much cap out, is when I see no possible way to win the game. If it's 7 enemies on the enemy team versus 2 of me, I'm gonna cap out if I have the option. But if there is an option for you to not cap out and try to kill all, then I would always say to try to do that. Use capping as a last resort or as a distraction to pull enemies away from one flank to another. Alright, that is out of the way. Now let's get into resetting bases. Alright, so let's start with some ground rules here. The basics. If you want to reset the base, you just need to shoot and pen or damage some part of the enemy tank in the base circle. This means you can do a penetrating shot that does damage, you can do a tracking shot, or a modular damage shot. Any of that will reset the base. If you bounce the enemy, you will not reset base. Now there are a couple ammos you can use, but the easiest one and the most effective one to for sure get a reset every single time is use HE. HE will do damage to most anywhere on a tank as long as you're not shooting a super sloped angle. You want to try to shoot something that is a flat base, or better yet, shoot for the tracks. Every single time, load an HE shot and aim for the tracks. You will always do damage to the tracks and reset base. Once you have it reset, then you can switch your ammo type and start doing some damage. Now here is the first and basic form of resetting a base. There's 12 seconds left on the clock. I'm just going to go straight in here, boom. I shot and damaged him and reset him. He no longer can cap this base out like he was intending to do right there. Now, I could have waited a couple more seconds and waited for my teammate to come over here to help me out, but at the end of the day I wasn't really thinking like that. I was just trying to get the reset and save the game. He is going to come and finish him off anyway, doesn't matter, he's going to be donezo. But you saw it right there, it's simple. Shoot, damage, reset. Now let's go on to the next example. Now I know you guys have been in this situation before. You're in the middle of the game, you're doing damage, and then all of a sudden, boom, you start getting capped out. Now, I know I am a slow tank. I know I need to start heading back. But just because I know those things doesn't mean I'm paying attention all the time. You really do need to keep an eye out on the base cap and keep an eye out on how fast and how long it'll take for you to get there. I now realize, I'm pretty sure, I know I realize, and I'm like, I'm too slow. I need to start heading back now. Like, I don't have time to engage that enemy. If I want to win this game, I need to go back and I need to try to reset. Now, a lot of the time, you won't be fast enough and you'll need somebody else to get a reset before you get there. And that is where our hero this game comes in, the artillery player, and you'll see here what he's going to do to save this game. Now, a lot of people might not like this, but this is important. The self-sacrifice to reset the base for the greater good of the team. Right there, the arty is going to sacrifice himself to get that base reset, which enables me to have enough time to get over here to continue resetting and to ultimately win the game. Now, this is huge, you guys. You might not like it, but at the end of the day, if you are trying to win the game, you need to do stuff that you're not going to want to do. I sacrificed myself many of times for a base reset, and my team, because I did reset the cap, won the game that otherwise would have been a loss. That is a very big and key thing. If you are the closest person to the base cap, no matter what tank you are, no matter how fast you are, if you are closest to the cap circle and can get the reset, it is your duty to the team to get that reset, even if you die. Because at the end of the day, you might just be able to win the game for the team. Don't be stingy with your hit points at the expense of the game. It's just not right. Alright, now to the next example of resetting base. Alright, let's talk real quick about the two types of cap circles. The one is standard, which is a shorter time limit to cap out, and then the other one is an encounter. Encounter time circles have longer to cap out, and another key advantage about encounters is that you don't have to shoot contest it or to reset it. If you just get inside of an encounter circle, you will contest it, which means you will stop the countdown on the timer. Like here's a good example. I'm not loaded for this guy. He slaps a shot into me, I'm a one shot. I don't want to go and try to circle this conqueror right now. He's going to kill me. It's obvious. I'm not loaded. He obviously was able to hit me right there. More or less he'll be able to hit me for another shot. So I am just inside of the encounter circle right now, and you can see at the top base is contested and the timer has stopped. Now, you can do this in certain situations. This will not work every single time, depending on what map you're on and where your team is and, you know, other stuff like that. But in this circumstance, There's no need for me to go and try to engage this guy right now. More than likely, if I poke out, he's going to get the shot off on me first, and I'm going to probably die because he has a big enough alpha to get me, unless RNG blesses me. But I'm just going to sit here, and I'm going to wait for my team to catch up and get up here and help me. Until then, he's done. He can't do anything. He can't get me right now, and he can't cap out. That is a key advantage to encounter cap circles. It's just contesting it. This will not work in a traditional regular standard mode. The cap circles have no contesting implementation or whatever. Even though I'm not going to get the reset on him, I was able to put myself into the cap circle, enabling my team to catch up with me and eventually get the cap circle. If I didn't come up here in the very beginning, we would have lost. This guy would have capped out. Our other teammates were halfway across the map. It would have been game over. But I was able to come up here. I saw that I wasn't able to take a shot from him. I did the next best thing, and I stopped him from being able to cap. Boom, he shot, boom, there's the reset. Even if I die right now, my team is going to pull this game off. I'm confident of it, even if I die right now. And that is what an encounter circle, something that you should keep in mind in the encounter game mode. Alright, let's go to the next example, you guys. Thing I want you guys to keep in mind when trying to reset a base is if there's multiple people on the base that you're trying to reset. This happens a lot. I see this mistake a lot. You don't shoot the same tank over and over and over again. If there are multiple people on a base, they all have cap points. Whoever was in the base first has the most cap points. I don't know the numbers for these. What is the total cap points in a cap circle? Could be 100, I could be wrong. I think it might be 100. So, if you shoot one tank that has been in the cap circle, and they have 80 points, the base timer goes down by that much. There's still another tank in the base that has cap points, the other whatever, and you need to reset that person as well. If you don't reset that person, you will get capped out if you leave that person alone. So here's an example of that right here. I see 2 tanks in the cap. I get the reset on the first one and the second one. You will see for a split second there, once I reset that first guy, the cap timer wasn't at 0. It still had time on it. That's because the other tank, the Tiger P, still had cap points. After I reset him, then the time went fully down to 0, and that's the best way to reset. Because if you leave one of the two, you're going to get capped out. Eventually, it'll take a little bit longer, but you will ultimately get capped out. Here I go again. There, he still has 33 seconds. I need to get the second reset. Boom. Then it goes down to 0, and then I screw up and I die. But nonetheless, I needed this for an example, so I wasn't really trying to win this situation. I just sort of wanted to show you guys you need to reset multiple enemies. Now, you may not know which enemy was in there first. It doesn't matter. Just reset something and then reset something else, but don't shoot the same guy you just shot. Alrighty. Next example. The last example, we find ourselves in a private match with my clan mates to help show this last point off. So, as you can see, I am the first one in the cap circle. I have the most amount of cap points right now. My other teammate who's coming is going to come into it last, and he's going to have less cap points. Now you're going to see if the enemy keeps shooting the same enemy tank over and over and just resets his cap points and doesn't reset my cap points, that you will lose. I have all of the cap points. My buddy has been reset, okay? But if you keep shooting him and you never shoot me, you're going to lose. And this is just proof in the pudding right here. This just goes hand in hand with the last tip I was just showing you guys, but this is a clearer way to prove it. And also, if there were multiple enemies in this situation shooting my teammate right there, it might still work this. I'm not sure. We didn't try it, but it might just take even longer. If I have the cap points, I'm pretty sure I will eventually cap out no matter how many guns are shooting at that teammate right there. But I wasn't able to prove that. But I was able to prove this. Every single time he gets reset, my cap points overmatch him being reset. So no matter what, I will eventually have capped this out. He did get caught on fire, which was unfortunate, and so then my enemy, or my other clanmate, just pretty much killed me. But I would have capped out if he didn't get caught on fire and if he had more hit points or wasn't doing damage to him. Nonetheless, my point is across. I hope this video helped you guys. I know it was very extensive, but I feel like I really did cover everything and having how to and what to reset a base. If you guys like this video and want to react, that like and subscribe button. It took me a long time, so I would appreciate it. Hit the bell if you guys want to be notified when I drop another video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Adios.